You oh,
Yo, what's going on? This
what's
is
good? What's good?
season 2, episode 1. I got a
It
important,
is.
important special guest. I say that every episode because I mean it. I got my boy Shaman with me today, man. How you feeling, bro?
How am I feeling? I'm feeling like when the toast comes out the toaster and you just know it's finna be nice, man. That's how I'm feeling.
With the butter?
Yeah, yeah. The butter, the jam.
Man, bro, I'm happy to have you here just simply because of the fact that like we go back early in my journey of making music. Not at the very beginning, but somewhat at the beginning. And I don't know if the people remember. If you go back to the other episodes, we had an episode with Ani, and
They
I
remember.
was talking about how
They remember. They remember on.
I remember I was talking about how like Ani we met freshman year and I used to be in their dorm is really because this man I actually met him like my first week of college, and we just connected, and bro really just looked out, times when I needed to just have somewhere to hang out. He would be like, "Yo, just come to my dorm, bro." And yeah, man, it was good times. So just for the people, bro, like how would you describe yourself? Because you do a lot of things.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I definitely like to, branch out. With that being said, I would address myself as a personal trainer and musician. Lately, I feel like I've gotten so much clarity with, because that's actually something that I had trouble with in recent years, was kind of like deciding what my mission was. I don't know if you ever heard of Simon Sinek, but he talks a lot
Explain that.
about how. I'm sorry.
I was saying, like, explain who's Simon.
Simon Sinek, man, you can actually hear one of his TED Talks. He was like one of the original like big TED Talks. Wrote some books also, but he talks about how when whether it's an artist, any sort of brand develops their why and their mission, that's how they separate themselves. Not only from the competition, but that's how they truly know themselves. The perfect example he used, and this is what it resonated so quick. He compared Apple to Microsoft.
Yeah, yeah.
As a consumer, when you think of Microsoft, I mean, they have a strong presence because, they just been here for so long. But I don't know. I personally don't really feel any sort of emotion when I hear Microsoft. In fact, it's almost the total opposite. I feel no emotion towards Microsoft. But Apple, Steve Jobs did such a good job at foundating that entire brand on we are innovation for the consumer. We are, I forgot what their exact mission statement was, but instead of stressing the what, because really, what does Apple make? Like, they make iPods, they make phones, laptops, computers, like they make everything. So it's not as important what they do, but we all know why they do it. And it's to streamline that technological process for the consumer. You can get into whatever, but
Yeah.
once you develop your why, I mean, you're the perfect example, man. Look at 725 p.m. to enlighten and invigorate through art and design, something along those lines.
Hey, and you know what the funny thing is, bro? I didn't remember the name of the guy who wrote the book, but I actually listened to. I have Audible, and I think I actually read the book. I think it was something called The Why, and that's actually where I was like meditating on when they were
That's
talking about.
exactly.
Yeah,
That's
bro.
exactly.
Yeah, that's yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. So Simon Sinek. Now you got his name,
Yeah, he's
but
the goat.
yeah. So man, to anyone listening, like finding out your why, your mission statement is going to be so important, and being able to embody your most authentic self and your brand.
Yeah,
So I would say that my mission statement is to cultivate. I would say my mission statement would probably be to cultivate a relationship between body and spirit, because I feel like especially in these times, and especially in Western culture, it's body and spirit that we're lacking the most. Whether
Mm,
you want to talk about,
mm.
our insecurities with, the whole COVID situation, or even just as a personal trainer, like fitness in general. So many artists have lost touch with like their own body, which I feel like is my
Yep.
biggest source of inspiration. Like living life through my body, animating, moving my hips. Like that's where my inspiration comes from. And I translate that in my music. But and then spirit, spirit, where I feel like we're also lacking that. A lot of people think that, the patriarchy is trying to keep us stupid. I don't think that, because, we need engineers and shit. Like we're not stupid,
Yeah.
but we are numb spiritually, and we are out of shape, and they do benefit from that. So, I feel like as a trainer and as a musician, empowering people through their body and their spirit is how we're gonna rise up.
Yeah, man. That's heavy, bro.
That's heavy. I,
Because
I get a lot. It gets like that.
and it's a good type of heavy because I think those are the type of conversations that are necessary, just Western culture, and I think also just as a Black community and just African community. Because I'm Zimbabwean, so like a lot of the times, bro, like within our culture, you see somebody who's obese, bro, and the first thing that people talk about will be like, oh, they're eating good, but it's like that's not good, and
Yeah,
that's something that like within my family, we actually linked up in Texas, did some an interview, and I had some celebrations going on. Yeah, my boy got the hoodie on.
yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, but I was like seeing some of my family members, and I had to like pull them to the side, and I was like, yo, you really got to like take your health seriously, because sometimes you have certain conversations and you don't want to be overbearing, but you're telling people like, yo, get some exercise in, like just clean up how you eat. And it's like
Mhm.
you say it kind of sparingly, but then when you start to see people you love kind of deteriorate, and just put it like that, it's really that's what it is, just kind of deteriorating in terms of their health. It becomes one of those things where it's like, damn, man, like we really, really got to get serious about it. Like you got to
I'm so
get.
glad you. I'm so glad you understand that, man, because that's actually going back to addressing, the kind of split that I had with not split, but you know, identity as far as where I wanted to take my path, because like you said, I do music, also do personal training. And for the longest time, the worlds were so separate for me, and I didn't know which way I wanted to go.
Yeah.
Once I started thinking about impact, like what will allow me to impact people the most in the way that like touches me the most and will help other people, it was so easy. It was so easy. For me, this is what I think about all the time. Whenever I see loved ones deteriorating because of health, which is almost daily now, it makes me realize, oh man, like this is how I want to help. This is how I want to add to the equation right now, at least.
Yeah, and it's so amazing, bro, because within my own personal life, I didn't really. I've always been active with like skateboarding, just because I just had a passion for it and needed something to like stay stimulated. And I wasn't a traditional sports type of person, just because like you need to like have somebody to take you to go, practice,
Bro,
money.
I'm not. Hey, I'm not gonna say nothing. I bet you're athletic as hell, because skaters have to be athletic.
Nah,
But
that's the
but
thing.
I feel like you just too you. I would actually want to see you play a traditional sport, man, because you just have such a chill vibe. I just couldn't imagine you, like, on the field, like,
Nah,
hey,
nah, nah, bro. I played soccer for a little bit. Fun fact, and I actually just got back into it a couple months ago. And I like when I'm playing like soccer, I'm definitely in that mode of like I'm aggressive. Like I want to win, and I get
hey,
I
well,
get
that's
I
good.
get
That's good. That
upset,
means you can
bro.
tap into both. You tap into
Bro,
both. I kind of lean on I'm just kind of turnt all the time, but
but I
you
think that's
know.
important. Man, we can bounce so much because that's also important, bro. Because sometimes I feel like people feel like they can't do that, or doing that is in a way a bad thing, to have some type of aggression, or want to win or want to excel. And it's like whenever I'm in a sport or whatever it is, even if it's just pickup, like the type of person where I want to win, bro. Like I don't. I get angry when I'm like playing with people who are just like lackadaisical, and just like,
Say that again. Lackadaisical.
yeah, bro. Like I don't know. Do you ever play like a sport or anything with somebody and it's like you're on there like, man, I'm ready to like take somebody's head off right now, and everybody's just kind of just you're like,
Yeah. No, I feel you. But I'll be honest, man, you know the one sport I'm like that in, and I'm the lackadaisical one. And it's ironic because it's probably the most competitive sport with like brothers too, is basketball. Man, you get me out unless one-on-one, no, like one-on-one, 3-on-3 max. I stay aggressive. But once the court's just full of dudes, bro, I don't know. I just be slowing down. I'm like, whatever, bro. Like, because I
because
think of
you
it as
feel
like
like
a workout.
that's not
I
really your sport per se, so it's like you're not proficient in basketball.
yeah, no, for sure.
But
For
I
sure.
feel you,
You
bro.
you ain't have to call me out like that, but I feel
Nah,
you.
cause
Yeah.
I'm not even proficient at basketball either, bro. But still, I still want to win either way. When I'm like, you can ask any of my friends. Like, I have like friends that are like they're trying to go to the NBA, but like when I'm playing with them, like I know in their head they're like looking at me, and they're like kind of like, all right, like it's P, but like I'm like dead seriously like trying to win, like. But
Man,
anyways, what I was trying to say is, I ended up I always just skated, so I never really thought about you know, exercise and being athletic until the pandemic hit. And I remember watching like a documentary for Kevin Hart, and he was like, when he was going through certain points of his life, he just exercises every day and he like running and in the gym. I just saw like, man, this man is pretty successful in the way this is how he take like keeps up his mind and his body and his spirit. I'm like, damn, let me try that out. And I started running, and bro, when I tell you, bro, that running changed my life. Like ever since like the top of like the when pandemic hit and I started running for the first time, like bro, out the gate, I did my first day. I did like 10 miles. I didn't even know I did 10 miles, which wasn't good for my knees at all. But yeah, like now every day I have to, and it's like just an amazing feeling of the energy I have, and just it's almost like a weird high, bro. Where you're just like you feel better. Like you could have I could have like 4 hours of sleep. I could get a good run in, and it's almost like what somebody might feel with coffee. Like I'm ready to just go on with my day, and I'm clear.
exactly, man. I'm not exactly. I wouldn't be able to like list out like all the chemical compounds. Of course, like serotonin, epinephrine, things of that nature. But it's insane how when someone goes on a run, as a trainer, one of the main objections that I'll hear from people when they say, I don't want to work out is because of like, oh, when I work out, I'm just so tired throughout the day.
Yeah.
And I'm empathetic because of course it's like their journey, not mine. But like sometimes it is hard to relate to that because it's like, well, what exactly do you mean by you're exhausted for the rest of the day? A lot of the times that's just nutrition. But for something like a jog or running, man, I feel so energized after after a good run, man. So I totally get what you mean.
But
I
let
totally
me
get what
ask
you
you just selfishly, because something that I kind of struggled with for a while is like I was running and then I started lifting, and I'd be like wanting to run and lift. And something I did find is sometimes when I would lift, or if I'd run too much, obviously, but when I was telling you I'd like doing like 7, 10 miles, I'd be super tired. So like I cut it down to 4. But like lifting for sure, sometimes I'll like be done and I'll be dead tired. So I know it probably has to be a nutritional thing. So like what do you usually tell people in terms of like nutrition to do to make sure like when they're done exercising they don't feel like, dang, I need me like go to sleep? Because sometimes I'll have that and I'm just like, I just need to sleep. Even though I have
yeah.
things to do, I'm like, dang, like I'm too tired, let me just get like a couple hours.
Well, whenever I'm giving people like nutritional advice, first just pay attention to your macros, of course. So you got like proteins, fats, carbs, all of them, or carbs and fats are going to be your energy sources, and then protein is what's going to make sure your muscle doesn't give out on you. With that being said, whether I guess the question is, are you asking more about nutrition or when should I time my runs with my lifts?
Nah, more so like if somebody was to tell you like, oh, I'm gonna go lifting, or I'm about to go on like a 5 mile run, what would you suggest in terms of like what should they eat? What should they be eating? Because sometimes, bro, like keep it real. Like I'll just eat like a granola bar and then just go on a run. But like I don't know. You tell me, is that what you're supposed? Like, what are you supposed to do to make sure you're having
If
enough?
you if the run is especially difficult for you, like someone who's a marathon runner, 5 miles, they'll knock that out. So, they can be a little bit more lax with their nutrition, I guess, in that aspect. But if you're about to really challenge yourself tomorrow morning with this 7 mile run, definitely carb up the night before.
Okay.
So they say that a lot of your performance is actually what you ate the day before.
Wow.
So
Wow.
if that's the value of a program. The difference between when I'm training people, I make sure to let them know that the value of having a trainer on top of accountability and things and like the relationship in general is a program. It builds on top of each other. Anyone can Google, a quick workout, on Google, and they can grab that. But what they're not gonna have is the planning from the day before. You're not gonna know what to do the day before, or how Monday's workout is going to connect to Thursday's workout and is gonna give you the best results. Things of that nature.
Yeah.
So that's the real important thing. But it's funny. This is something that I want. This is honestly a part of my new mission. The clarity that came with 2022 is that I want to bring more awareness to the body for artists, especially,
Yeah.
because man, I think it's so important that you keep your ass in shape, bro. I think it's
Yeah.
so important, as a performer, when you start touring and stuff, man. I mean, shit. Have you have you performed live yet?
Yeah.
So how exhausting that stuff is. You know how taxing, especially when you're feeling it with the crowd, man. Like
Yeah, bro. Like you go crazy on that one song, you might have like another one to go. You're like, dang.
that's what I'm saying, man. And I've experienced it personally in Austin. They have so many open mics and performance opportunities that I've done like days and days in a row just performing, and I'm just like, damn, like my body's sore off of just that. you
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
so I'm just like, man, how many artists is this holding back? Are they afraid to like actually go on stage and rip their shirt off and stuff like that just because they're not in the best shape? And it sounds like something nuanced and small, man, but I really think that helping artists bring more awareness to their body is gonna just level us up, level the culture up, you
Facts.
know?
Facts, bro. That's funny you say that. Like I think about that sometimes. I'm like, dang, somebody who's always talking about like, yeah, I was on tour and I was like just, drinking a lot and smoking a lot. And I'm like, man, how are you able to do like a 30-minute set and then every night you're like getting trash? It's like that doesn't even sound fun,
That's
bro.
what I'm
Like
saying. That's
no
what I'm
sleep
saying.
too on top of that. Like you're getting like minimal sleep. It's
The
like,
maintenance. Hey, ignorance is bliss, man. Because it's honestly funny. You think back to when you were a kid and you knew nothing about this stuff, and all the rules were out the window, bro. I drink all the sodas at night, do whatever, and then the next morning, time of my life. So it's
but
crazy.
but to speak on that though, when I met you, you've always just been about, not to this level yet in terms of like knowing your purpose with fitness, but you've always been active and making music. Like when you were a kid, taking us like back, like where are you from? Have you always been like this? Like is anybody in your family informed? You know?
Man, this is I like this question, man, because reflecting back on my childhood, we had a house right in front of this huge playground, like huge, man, like open field, but still had like all the playground equipment. And
Where
I
was this
remember
at?
that's how. I'm sorry.
Where was this at?
This was over in Louisville. Like
Okay.
this house was over in Louisville. Um, yeah, Valley Ridge Elementary. If y'all want to
We're talking
Google
about
Earth my
Texas.
yeah.
My boys from Texas.
Yeah, Tejas, man. You already know how we do it. But anyways, so man, every day, I had a direct view of all of the entire playground, man. And I remember as a kid, I would always look out the window to see what the move was. You know, I just,
Yeah.
you know, and bro, if anyone was out there, I'm like, that's the move. You know, I go out there.
Yeah.
I remember, you know, whether it be strangers or whatever, man, I just be out there. And I honestly think that's part of why I'm so comfortable talking with,
Yeah.
you know, new people, is because I know that, hey, we all just here to play and have fun, right? All right, cool, you know? So yeah. I feel like that's where I got my physicality from. And whenever I would it was just my outlet, man, before I even knew what that was. You know, some people journaled growing up, some people, you know, did this, did that. Me, I had to move my body, man. Whether it was frustration, stress, or even like joy, man, it's like, hey, we going outside. That's what's going on.
We outside.
Yeah, man, we outside, man. Trademark. But I mean, on top, and when I really knew that the body was a vessel for life, you know,
Yeah.
was an instrument. I'll say it, man. Psychedelics. I don't know if that's allowed to come up, man,
Yeah, man.
but
We talk about anything on here, man.
mask off. There we
Yeah.
go.
Facts.
But I remember the first time I started having a bad trip on psychedelics. There was, let's see, I just remember, you know, just a level of stress, a different kind of stress, because, you know, you're in this altered state and you
Right.
don't really know how to make sense of it. And I just remember, you know, just going outside and feeling the grass and honestly just doing what I always do, man. Like, you know, I think I didn't exactly start working out, but I definitely started moving my body, you know, almost like dancing, which for the people who know me, it didn't look that strange. They was like, oh, okay, that's just Marcus being Marcus, you know. But man, that's when I realized that, okay, the body is an instrument and it's meant to be moved. When I'm putting myself in a box and staying still because I feel like I have to, that's when, you know, things start I don't know, just feeling out of tune, you know?
Yeah.
So that's the advice I give to anyone, man. Moving your body is an instrument. You got to move that thing around, you know? Move your hips. If you're a man, move your hips a little bit, you know?
Bro,
Hey, you
I'm not gonna lie, bro. When you said that earlier, there was the part of me, I don't know, like what, you know, the kids want to call it, where they call it toxic masculinity or whatever it is. Like I was like, I don't know, I'm trying to move my hips.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, you tell a
But I
man
know.
that, you tell a man that, you're like, whoa, move my what, man? Move my what?
But
Yeah,
like,
you
nah,
got
bro,
him.
that's real, bro. Cause I was with my aunt and my uncle, my auntie Sarah and Uncle Trevor. He also was somebody that I interviewed in season one. And when every time I'm at their house, they're always playing music videos. And again, I'm proud of my heritage being Zimbabwean, so they're always listening to like Afro beats and just music for all over Africa. And every time I'm watching the videos, from the men to the women, everybody's dancing. And in some of the videos, the men are actually shaking their hips. Like it's almost like somebody might look at it and be like, bro, are they twerking? Because that's how I was looking at it. I'm like, what in the world is going on? What they got going on? And I'm looking at that, and my uncle and my aunt are like, nah, like they're dancing. And like everybody in the video was hyped, and there's millions and millions of views. Like people are watching it, and they actually watch the videos because they like seeing everybody, you know, dancing and moving their hips. Like these are like full, you know, masculine, you know, men doing their thing and vibing. I'm just like, dang, there's something wrong with my mentality and how I'm looking at life and experiencing life, you know, that I can't be free enough to move my body like that. Cause that's a different type of joy. Like when you're a kid, you do that. You don't think about that unless somebody drills
Yeah.
it in your head, like, man, what are you doing? You know? So I agree.
The same way that, you know, you can be unauthentic with your words, you can be unauthentic with your body, you know? You can listen on a conversation and know when, you know, this person's holding back, you know?
Yeah.
And I mean, you know, that's just how a lot of us, you know, grew up in a Western, you know, culture, or many cultures, you know?
Yeah.
But
True.
moving your hips is the equivalent to like a more authentic conversation, you know? You see someone dancing with their hips and you're like, oh yeah, like they feeling it. This is the vibe right here, you know? It's
Yeah.
crazy, man.
Man, I can't tell you how many like functions though I've gone to, and I just kind of like held up the wall. Like I just like I like bobbing my head, but I'm just like, dang, like I'm gonna look crazy if I like really like dance. So like to like what you're saying of just like you being, it was normal for you to just be moving and dancing. I can attest to the fact like he definitely does just like whenever like there could be no music playing, like this man will just start moving, and like that
Yeah,
takes
yeah.
a certain amount of confidence, and that's something that I've actually always respected about you, is you've always just been from when I've known you, a very confident person, in terms of your interactions and voicing how you feel and expressing yourself. So I just wanted to know, uh, was it that trip, or is it before that you've always been kind of like that?
I
Was
think
like,
I've
were you
always been
ever a
like that.
shy shaman or something, or?
Nah, nah, nah. I've always been pretty outgoing, but it was mainly because I always understood the concept of like reciprocation, you know?
Okay.
And the reason why I try to be authentic in my conversation is because I've had the blessing of 10, like 9 times out of 10, getting it back from the person, you know? Um, I know some, and I don't know if it's just the way that I carry myself, or if other people might. I can't even comment on that, but I I understand that not everyone has the best intentions, and you can't necessarily put that expectation on people to like match your energy. So that's something
Yeah.
I've had to learn, because I actually have been, I don't want to say hurt, but I felt drained because I'm giving all this energy and sometimes it's not reciprocated back. But what I've, law of attraction, man, I just know that if I'm as authentic as possible, and sometimes it is kind of uncomfortable. And that's where like boundaries need to be established, because you can't always just be pouring everything out the cup, that
Yeah.
boundaries are important. But
Yeah.
but knowing knowing where the water bottle gets full, like, all right, well, if I got this much, if I fill it up to right here, that's good, man. And once I learned how many liters my water bottle was, I just feel like I've been able to act in like just fullness for years now. And it really has changed my life, man. So to answer your question, I've always been outgoing, but I think understanding boundaries, and especially the past like several years, has allowed me to emerge. That's the word that I saw a tweet or something a few days ago. I'm really big into words, man. Like a word will like just give me so much inspiration.
Hmm.
And I saw someone, she made some tweet. It was a joke, but she was like, I only date artists that have emerged. And then at first I was like, emerge, like they're famous, like, oh, that's shallow or something like that. I was like, that's lame. That's lame. But then I thought
Yeah.
about it, I was like, wait, what's the exact definition of emerge? Let me look that up. And to emerge is to come, like something like to come out from behind and into full view. So I realized, I was like, okay, so an emerged artist isn't necessarily a famous artist. It's an artist who has come out of that shadow and is now in full view, either so they can see everything or to be seen.
Yeah.
And that's a word that I want to embody, um, especially in 2022, man, because shaman, I feel like I'm often as outgoing as I am on a branding sense. I often feel like I'm kind of like the hermit who's like, in his cave working on his stuff.
Yeah.
And it's caused me to like not share as publicly, as far as like music releases or programs I've been working on fitness wise and stuff. Pretty much everything that I've done has honestly just been coming off of referrals and like word of mouth. Like, hey,
Yeah.
bro, I heard you make good music, bro. Like, let's work on something. Hey, you got my boy right. Hey, you got my boy right 3 months back. He's looking good. Can you do that with me? And that's literally where majority of my business has been, which is like a complete blessing, because
Yeah.
I've actually got to like nourish the relationships. But this year, especially, to emerge, to come out into full view, and I don't know, take some notes from my boy, from my African cowboy, man,
Hey
because
man. Hey man.
You, you
God
be,
is
hey, you
good,
be doing,
bro.
hey man, you be doing your thing on the whole. I don't know anyone. I know when I interviewed you, you admitted you're like, hey, bro, I'm honestly not even all about the Instagram stuff, and I'm like, bro, I would not be able to tell because posting consistently on the stories, on everything, man, and just from like an objective point of view, I'm like, respect, man,
I
because
appreciate that, man.
hell
And
yeah.
it's like the thing is, it's so amazing how we can all sort of be on the same type of time because for me, my 22 is more so getting that human interaction because to your point, usually when people say that when they're like, oh man, I'm not really, you know, putting myself out. I'm just more like word of mouth and referrals. I'm usually like, nah, I'm not really in support of that because people kind of use that as a crutch, or they don't really push forward. Versus like you're somebody who's very sociable and you actually, you know, you're with the people. I've seen it. I know you. People who know you know like you're somebody who loves to interact with people. So like that type of situation works, but to what you know, there's growth. I think on my end is I'm doing the social, but I need to be more confident and radically honest about my approach with people and being able to have like conversations because the social part is good, but the best form of marketing, you can read any type of marketing book, they'll always say is word of mouth. You know, people are able to interact better with the posts and the advertising when they know they have a relationship with the person who's posting the things. So yeah, we're on the same page, and it's just cool to hear that it's we're on flips, different sides of it, but we're on the same page.
Call my ass out, man. I've definitely been using it as a crutch. I've been using my strength as a crutch because I don't want to work on the weakness, or
Yeah,
I want to. But with that being said, man, I'm glad that I'm glad that I wouldn't say I never thought of us as like opposites or anything, but it is interesting to hear to see like how we've both grown in our own ways since we first met. Our paths diverge, but we come back, and it's like even though on one hand it sounds like a completely different story, I relate so much with like everything you say, even though it's like, oh, I was doing this, you were doing that. Oh shit, but it kind of looks the same though. Like I feel that.
yeah, and it's like it even gets even more wild for the people who don't know. You when you were at school, you were studying sound design. When I came in, I was doing um photography, and then I was like transitioning into fashion. Now I'm in a space where like in a year I'm about to graduate sound design major.
Hey, I'm glad they're taking care of you over there. It's sad, man. I'm glad they're taking care of you, man.
Yeah, man, like sound design at SCAD is great. I don't, you know, SCAD's not sponsoring this, so I'm not about to spend too much time. Like people, shout out
Hey
to
man, you one of the few, what is it, like 30% of people actually like finish through, man. So hey, applause to that. I actually want to go to a SCAD. Have you been to a SCAD graduation?
nah, I haven't.
I always imagine like a Hogwarts ceremony or something like that.
I know like
So
there's some times when like Oprah and them pulled up. Had like crazy people, you know. I mean,
that
not
is
crazy people, but like cool figures show up. But
that's crazy.
we're
What?
not gonna spend too much time
No,
on
no,
that.
no. You good, man. You good. But as far as I do want to ask you about Savannah. What's the how should I say the live performance culture over there, man? Because coming from Austin, I just realized how what it can be like as far as live performances in Austin, man. Hey, you want to pick up you want to pick up an open mic, you want to get booked for a show or something. It's just shaking a couple hands, bro. Like you're not that far away from performing this weekend or something. So I was wondering,
Yeah,
like in a
it's
place like
totally
Savannah,
it's so different out here, bro. And
so many
I'm sure
bars,
there's
so
more
many
like
artists.
socialites that are like more in tune with what's going on. But from like what I've seen, more of the live performances will be like bands that are outside of, you know, bar like certain, you know, niche bars, and they're like more so doing like covers of pop or, you know, country music. It's not really a melting. You can't compare like Austin live scene to Savannah. Like that's hot and cold, you know. Like Austin, there's so much going on right there. I bet, right? It's like there's hip hop going on, there's R&B, there's country, and it's all thriving in the same ecosystem.
Let me tell you though, you got to look for it. You got to be the one to look for it, because
Facts.
you know, you ask a lot of people in Austin, they'll talk like all the rappers in Austin are trash, you know? And I'm like, what? Because I first let me say, you know, hip hop is a culture and people need to remember that, you know?
Yeah.
And just like with any culture, you gotta integrate yourself into it to actually find the gems and understand, you know?
Mm. Mm.
A lot of people just think, you know, because they listen to, you know, they just listen to rap music or something that, like, I don't know, the best of the best is gonna find their ears. But it's like, bro, you don't realize, like, the ones who are really living this, like, you gotta find them, honestly. And in Austin, I would say you do that through um actually one of the things we talked about in our interview was in our last interview was not only following the artists but following the other people who are integrated in the culture, you know.
Yeah.
My boy Jay Soldier running the city, bro, as far as hip hop goes in Austin. And he actually started an open mic called the Pre-Roll, where he opens up the Flamingo Cantina, which is actually like a pretty jumping bar, bro. It's like a jumping reggae bar, but opens it up twice a month as an open mic for all hip hop artists, bro. And you should just see some of the talent that comes through here, man. And know, like, not many people know about it, man, but that's where I've met some of the craziest acts in Austin, man. And it really makes me realize that, for one, live performances are underrated, man. I mean, of course, you know, everyone wants to see their favorite artists, you know, when they come through, but man, like, an artist who can master the art of performing, that's a whole skill set in itself, man. Yeah.
Facts.
That is a whole skill set in itself, man. Because,
Facts.
man, like,
Facts.
there are some artists where if you were to just show me their music first, you know, I might not have given it a second play, you know.
Yeah.
But I see them kill it on stage, and hey, they on the playlist now. They in the playlist now,
Yeah.
and that's just crazy. And people are gonna connect with you so much more authentically. So
Yeah, that's I think that's the next part of my musical journey is working on that, because it's really like a rite of passage within all music. But I like to speak more on on hip hop culture, because I feel like that's what more like hits home the most and what I see the most. And that's definitely like a rite of passage where, you know, a lot of times people are able to cultivate that live stage presence by having the experience of getting on stage and not getting reactions from people, and then not knowing like, okay, I not only just need to get on this stage, I also need to um, have a call of action while I'm on stage to get the people engaged while I'm on
yeah,
stage, which again takes another level of confidence to be able to just be on there and like have that conversation. Because I've seen artists who just like get on there and they just want to perform and then get out and expect everybody to just But sometimes you gotta have that like, so how's everybody feeling tonight? And you know what I mean?
yeah.
So
Oh man, I'm so glad you mentioned that, because at the Pre-Roll at Jay Soldier's open mic, he'll actually give critiques to the artists who just performed, you
yeah,
know, and
that's
that's one of
cool.
the things. Oh no, it is cool, man. It's real authentic criticism, and sometimes he'll, you know, hey, we just ain't feeling the song, you know,
Yeah,
but you know, hip hop needs that energy, man. It was built on a competitive, you know. But
right.
anyways, call to action, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's so powerful, man. To be able to get up, and that takes another level of like comfortability. Because even
yeah,
what I learned about myself you learn so much about yourself from performing, is that like kind of the overflow of energy. Sometimes I would get on stage and I would pour too much and I start overflowing, you know,
yeah.
and almost coming off like incoherent. But once
Mm.
I learned to like get up there and relax my shoulders and realize like, wait, these people are coming to like interact, you know.
Yeah,
That's when I realized like, oh wait, these are actual people. Like you're not just performing for your mirror right now, you know. Like You look them in the eye, you know, call to action, how y'all feeling, you know, what are they going to take away from this, you know?
Ooh,
Ah,
that's a
damn.
that's a gem. Like, let's not skip over that one too fast. What are they gonna take away from this? Sheesh. Because
Who, who,
it's easy to think like that when you're making the song, which I hope people are thinking about when they're making music, in their journey. But like thinking about that from a live stage presence, we always think about like, oh man, like especially people who are, more artistically inclined in all aspects outside of just music and design and stage design. You're thinking about, oh man, I need to have the big prompters. I need to have the screens with the visuals on it for people to like walk away feeling amazed or feeling inspired. But to what you said, I think that's so important. Is like, man, like even if there's none of that and it's just you and a mic, what can you provide where people can walk away and feel like they've taken something away from that experience? Like,
mm,
sheesh, sheesh.
yeah. Yeah, people need to realize that an MC, and I'm speaking in hip hop terms, but even outside of hip hop, like country singers, whatever, like, but in hip hop terms, MC is the master of ceremonies. You are curating this experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So yeah, it is more than just getting up there and performing. Before the MC was the performer, it was the DJ everyone was coming for. You was the MC. You were supposed to get like connect with the crowd while the DJ doing his thing and making sure that everyone is having a positive experience, you know,
yeah,
through rhyme, through fashion, all that stuff, man. So it's just amazing. The more you study hip hop and the more you like understand that it is a culture and it has history, the you find the gems and the secrets. Like, oh, okay, so this is why I even like this in the first place, you know?
yeah, bro. And it makes me so happy to hear that. Um, Obviously, I already know you were knowledgeable, but just the fact that you really know, your rap history or rap background, even if it's not like every minutia, you understand, how we've gotten to this point. And similarly, recently I've been watching the house party movies with the group Kid and Play from back in the day in the
Yeah,
90s.
yeah, that shit was tight. I love those
Bro,
things, man.
like
I love those
watching
shit.
those movies kind of brought me back to that space of like, oh yeah, like this is what I really love about, our culture and just like hip hop culture is just like seeing them on stage, even though obviously it's a film, it kind of was supposed to encapsulate what was going on at the time of people coming together. And it's like they were on stage, like talking to the people and and like dancing and like creating that environment. They had the DJ in the back, to your point, and they were
Yeah.
creating a vibe where it wasn't just like, watch me perform, I'm cool. They were going out of their way to exert all their energy by doing all the dances and the routines,
Yeah,
punching
yeah,
like
man.
movements, because they wanted to make sure that everybody in the environment was like feeling lively and partying, like not just like, oh man, these people are cool. It's like everybody was into it at the same time. I'm like, whoa, yeah.
I know you're feeling this because your body's moving with it, man. You speaking with your body right now.
Yeah, bro. It's like
It just goes
you
all the
can't
way
think of
back.
house party and not, bro. Like I don't know how
Yeah.
you like if you haven't seen those movies, find somebody, hack an account, find the HBO,
I
go
know.
watch HBO and just type in house party. Those movies are, yeah, they're great.
For real, for real. I'm probably gonna give it a rewatch after this, man. I love Kid and Play. That shit was funny. That's such a nostalgic film for me, man. That's crazy.
Yeah. But
But no, man. But we pretty much loop back around to the same, bring it full circle, man. I mean, like speaking with your body, you know, exerting all your energy out there. Uh, man, the more authentic you can be with a crowd for any sort of artist, even shoot outside of music, however you can apply it. That's really what I think is going to do good for the culture in general, you know, because I feel like we all kind of feel this um in the whole art zeitgeist, at least from what I'm feeling. It seems like everyone's kind of a lot of people are having this hunger for something more, you know, whether it's something that we forgot that we used to have, or whether it's something completely new, just some level of authenticity beyond what we're experiencing in our day to day, you know. And
Facts.
the better we're able to feel that, for me it's through the body. That's all I can comprehend right now, you know. I'll leave it to the other fine artists to find the other ways to be authentic, but for me it's like through the body. The more we can express through the body, is gonna that's gonna be how we find that element that we're missing, in my opinion.
And the important thing too is like that's how you win. Like I recently been reading a book, or I finished, called Purple Cow by Seth Godin. He's a big guy on marketing, and he was saying that being a purple cow, being meaning being different from what everyone else is doing, or what every other product is how you actually thrive in whatever marketplace that you're in, whether it be, making music, or you're a corporation. Because really everything realistically has been done before, but making something that's so radically unique to you and your own experiences is what is able to set you apart, um, versus trying to make something that's already been done and then expecting people to take on to it. Like think about the fact that somebody you might know, or whatever experience you might have of directly or indirectly, of knowing somebody who's just so radically themselves and so passionate about something. People tend to want to get to know that person and be around that person because of that. And the byproduct of that is not everybody's gonna like that person or want to be cool with that person. There's gonna be some people like, man, that person, is a jerk, or they're just too upfront, or whatever the case may be. But that's like that small little pool. But then the majority of people are gonna, be attracted to that person because of the fact that they're that purple cow. So like, yeah, like authenticity is the way to win.
Yeah,
Whatever you're doing, whatever like winning may look like for you, but like we're just talking about just evolving and succeeding. Like you definitely got to be authentic.
they're gonna talk about that book that I sent you a few days out. That's going to be something they talk about in a more spiritual, like esoteric sense. But pretty much they call it, instead of the purple cow, it's your like soul gift or something. Pretty much,
Okay.
you're going to find your purpose in the very thing that makes you different. It might have even made you uncomfortable when you were younger.
Yeah.
That's going to be your gift. Your purpose, your gift to the world is going to be how you package that thing that's so unique that it makes others almost uncomfortable about you, you know, but has actually carried you through life. And they say it in such amazing terms. It's fucking Soul Craft by Bill Plotkins, man. Like you're gonna like that,
Shout
that
out
book.
to you for sending that to me, bro. I appreciate you.
Oh yeah, no, you're gonna like it, man. You're gonna enjoy the book as long as you finish it, man. As long as you like really, it's been one of my best like spiritual assets, man. Like it really. Um, this ain't a book review. You gonna see, man. You gonna see.
But I think
But
on that note, bro, we dropped a lot. We really need to do like a part two of this interview. But I just want to really say thank you, bro. And obviously the concept of giving people their flowers while they're alive, bro. I just want to, give you your flowers just as a friend, and as just as a individual in the world, bro, that's just striving to evolve, to be a better person every day, and just try to help other people to seek that and become that. I applaud you, bro, and I appreciate you for coming through. And when I go on tour, I need you to be my personal fitness trainer, bro.
I don't know why you laughing, bro. I don't know why you laughing because
Like
it's
I'm
actually
laughing because I'm actually like I'm dead serious, but I don't. It's like, yeah, I actually want you to be like my personal trainer. Like facts.
man, I just want first thank you for asking me to be on here, so I didn't have to beg, bro. Because you know the quality of your content has been top notch, man, and I only
Man,
see
thank
your
you.
hunger for improvement. You're coming into this next year hot, man. So it's a blessing to not only know that I'm watching you, but that we're on this journey together, man. So shit, man. Of course we're gonna keep in touch, man. Part two coming soon.
Yes, sir.
Mask off. There we go.